Hello, Mark. We can't start with a giggle. How are you?
I'm all right now. Now we've edited out the beginning that you started us on.
My little beginning, but yes. Well, here we are.
Yeah,
We're at my house.
At your house.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling wet-elbowed at the moment.
Because my dog is running around, very confused about what's going on. But he's good. He's being quiet. I'm sure he'll be quiet for the whole podcast. He's going to lick me. So yes, here we are. I showed you, before we started the podcast, I showed you some of my cards, because you can now see my Pokemon cards.
I have seen some of his Pokemon cards, and I've been shown which ones were worth a lot, so I'm trying to see how I can get them out of the building. And they're probably tagged, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all tagged.
Alarming system.
They've all got serial codes that are linked to our house. So.
But yeah,
should we start with your week, because my homework does follow on.
It does.
It does follow on to the audio essay.
So yeah, my main thing this week was the documentary that you recommended, which was Behind the Curve, which goes behind the flat Earth movement. The main thing is the Americans. And following mostly a guy called Mark Sargent, the self-titled king of Flat Earth. Or was it Flat Earthers? Anyway, doesn't matter. And it was a brilliant documentary. I'm really glad
It's a really good documentary. I remember when it came out. It was the talk of the town.
Talk of the town. I missed it then. Because
everyone was talking about it.
I've always found it fascinating, the idea of people in this day and age believing in a flat Earth. There's several posts that regularly come up on my Facebook feed, and I just get caught up in reading the comments and the two factions having at each other like nothing else on Earth. Flat all round, that is. And the documentary itself, I felt, dealt with it really tactfully to a certain extent. It didn't go out to go, you're an idiot. It looked into these people and why they believe these things, and it
gave good explanations. I think it was really good at giving. I watched it again as well. I couldn't get the whole way through because I actually got angry, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But it was very good, and it had like psychologists and it had astrophysicists, like proper research people, being like, people can end up like this because this, and like this is why they're thinking this, and like. It wasn't so degrading or demeaning, being like, these people are wrong. It was like, this can just happen. I agree.
I think one of them was talking about this idea that they're actually failed scientists. They're scientists on their own right, but they've just come to the wrong conclusions. That they're curious about their world and wanting to explain it, but they've just been driven down the wrong road. Yeah. And I just... I never thought about it in that way. I've always been a bit more like, idiots. And it did make me feel really sympathetic. More sympathetic, not really sympathetic.
There are a few, interestingly, some of the main characters were Mark Sargent.
Yes.
There was the woman.
Patricia...
Something. And then there was the other guy who was like... There was another guy, and he introduced himself by saying something like, my mind tutor told me to like look into these things. Yeah. And I was like, you have a mind tutor and tells me a lot about you. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I know exactly who you are. And he thought he was very impressive because he could like bounce a ping pong ball on a hammer whilst naming all the elements. And clearly in his mind, he thought that was the pinnacle of intellectual capability. So, but like, I think there's, in my mind, when I was watching it, it felt like everyone had some kind of ulterior motive for why they're in the flat earth movement.
Yeah.
I think for Mark Sargent, it's so clear, and they make it so abundantly clear in the show that he wants fame. He wants to be a celebrity. This well-known guy. Everyone knows Mark Sargent. He's the king of this thing, right? And
he wears T-shirts that says, yes, I am Mark Sargent on it.
Yeah, and he talks, all his anecdotes about like, oh, this time that someone recognised me, and oh my God, like that time that like, these big people had me on their podcast and I was like the super guest star. All this stuff. He's clearly... And there's like the bit of the conference when he does the line from Megamind, where he's like, "I love you too, random stranger," and it's like it's straight from Megamind. He's clearly had this fantasy of saying this thing.
I did not know. I did not recognise that from Megamind.
It's a Megamind.
I just thought it was him trying to be quirky and, like he's a really cool personality, but it came across as so flat.
That's because it's rehearsed. Because it's so rehearsed, and he's like had this fantasy in his mind that he is the superhero guy from Megamind. Like that's you can see there's a different problem, and like Phoebe, the lady, clearly wants Patricia. Sorry, I think it's Phoebe. I don't know why. Patricia also has some things going on.
Yeah, I mean the reason why they think she's a plant from the CIA is because the word her name Patricia ends in the words CIA.
But she's crazy because she's like talking about like not believing anyone. Yeah. And then she's shocked that no one believes her. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. I mean that's
there's some kind of disconnect there.
There is a real disconnect there. It's like there's that whole idea that they can't understand why people don't believe. More people don't believe them
in their proof,
and that they're somehow special because of it, because they do believe it, and they have really looked into the details. For me, it was at the end. It was that at the conference at the end when Mark Sargent was being asked about the Truman Show. He talked about Truman Show as Truman himself at the show when he leaves is because he has nothing to lose. Yeah, and then he goes, well, then you've got the mayor, and you've got to question why would the mayor leave? Because he's got everything to lose. He's got, I think he says, mistresses and cars or whatever, whatever nonsense. But then the narrator says, well, what about you, Mark? Are you the mayor of Flat Earth? And Mark gives a pause, and I think there might have been a lengthening of that pause. And he says, if I try to go so many people would, I don't know, don't do it. I couldn't go if I wanted to. So it's almost like if he ever got to the point of self-realization somehow that it wasn't Flat Earth, he would still be there.
Yeah, because he's the guy. He's the guy.
Because of the community that he's got around him that idolize him and what look to him. And he is the mayor. Why? I'm now aware of it. Why would I leave this? Because I've got what I want out of life. I've got an income. I've got people that idolize me. I've got fame. All these things.
I totally agree. An influence. It's so true that I think. Like I said, with the ulterior motives, he absolutely, it's in his mind, this ulterior motive actually. He doesn't, I don't think, even realise it, but like, he's just there for the fame, really.
Yeah.
He's believing this in his mind because he's becoming so famous.
But then you question, how many of those people that were talking to the camera were genuine? Not genuine, sorry.
I think they were
any
genuine,
there that were just going along with it now. They've had it proved to them. I think there were some things. It was the people that did the physical tests.
Yeah.
They were the ones where it was frightening to watch.
It was frightening to watch, actually.
They talked about the gyroscope test.
Yeah, the fibre optic gyroscope. They had just for the listener, they had a fibre optic gyroscope, and it's a really, really, it's like 20 grand, and someone just bought one. It's insane. But it's super precise, and it can measure the rotation of the Earth. If the Earth was a globe, and it can tell that every hour it should move 15 degrees.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, they turn it on, they get it all calibrated, and it moves 15 degrees every hour. And then they all go, well, we just can't accept that. Something must be wrong. And it's I think that was frightening, because what it's saying is they're just flat out not believing.
Yeah,
right?
So the next thing is they put it in a box to, what was it? I can't remember the phrase. It was something about solar energy or something like that. Solar energy is affecting the gyroscope. So we'll put it in some form of box.
Which is like a 1 in a billion chance. There's neutrinos coming from outer space, which it has messed with technology before in the most minute ways. So they put it in this box that basically isolates it from like neutrinos and all this kind of stuff.
But what do they get? The same result. Same result. But then it's later when they decide to use a laser.
Yeah, and they do the river test, which is using there's an easy test you can do, which is using a river to basically prove that, because water level will kind of curve with the Earth, and if you have like 2 dots and then a laser going through them, it'll appear on the other side. If the Earth's flat, you have to shift. If it is flat, you can put both everything aligned, and it'll just go straight through. And like at the end, of course, they prove that the Earth is round, and then it just cuts, doesn't it? It just ends as like boom, and it's really good because it's just like they are proving themselves wrong, but they just don't believe it.
Yeah, but it was because there's one in the post credits. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay,
but I did. Maybe ages ago.
The same team that did the laser experiment decided to do it with a very powerful torch. So they had to do something different because, of course, the beam of the torch was much bigger. So they had a hole in a sheet, which they had at the midpoint, and somebody shone a torch, and then they had a sheet for the light to go onto. And if they could see the light at a certain, if they could see it when it was at
it was all aligned
height,
if it was flat, and it would have to adjust it if it was curved. Was the idea? I remember this. Yeah,
and they watched it happen.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They say, "Oh, we can't see the light. We can't see the light. You're gonna have to put it higher," and they put it higher, and they see the light, and you can see that it was unbelievable to watch their faces trying to tie that fact into what they have believed up until that point. And they all start saying things like, oh, we'll have to try something else because this is obviously it's not proving, but it's like they are unwilling to accept anything that isn't proving
their point, which is a real weird thing. And actually, this is my point I wanted to come into, right? This is why it was so hard to watch this time around, is because the narrative, how the world works now is you can just make your own narrative, right?
Yeah.
We've had I don't want to get political, but we've had 2 Trump presidencies, and I think in just the general world, you just kind of make things up a bit. And like you can get fact checked, but you don't listen to the fact check. The fact checks they're on the other side, and it just feels like the idea of the flat Earth thing, and that kind of group, and like I only believe what I want to believe, is like science. It's almost like they're saying what I believe is the science because I believe it and I've looked at it. They also talk about a lot. They talk about in that show. They're like, oh, I don't look at the numbers. I just look at what I can see. And I'm like, what do you mean you're not looking at the numbers? The numbers are the bit that prove it. And I'm like, just because the numbers are complex doesn't mean they're not wrong.
But it's the whole thing of you're looking at the numbers. You know where the numbers have come from and you're looking at the numbers. That is the evidence.
Yeah.
But I think that was some of the same people that were linked to the gyroscope group, weren't they? They were the ones that were talking in those terms. But they're willing. They were saying they were a scientific group. Yeah. They were thinking about these things and wanting to show the truth behind flat Earth, but in a way that suggests that they wouldn't accept it. That was the thing that.
Going back to a point, I think this is just how the world is going. Is people are just like.
Well, I want to believe it, so I will.
And there's literally no consequences. There's there really isn't any consequences to these people believing in flat Earth. Actually, which is insane. There should be something like the sat nav should just not work for them because like GPS only works if it's a spherical planet. So like, if
you can't have GPS.
It should kind of be like that. If you don't believe in it, you can't use it.
Can you imagine your user agreement? Do you believe in the flat Earth? Yes. Oh, my GPS seems to stop working. Yes, that's because you're an idiot.
Things like that. Honestly,
you don't deserve it.
Honestly, but that's the thing. There's no consequences to this insane. And like, if you were, tribal survival man in like archaic, history, and you came with some dumbass philosophy about something, you just die because you'd said you'd done something stupid and just
fire isn't hot. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, things like that. And they'd be like, I can survive that jump, and then just.
I can get an example. I started watching for my sins a show called Inheritance. It's one of those
I've heard of it. Yeah. I thought it was well acclaimed.
Traitors.
Inheritance.
Pardon?
Oh, is it like a traitor style?
Yeah, traitor style thing. But instead, they have to complete tasks each week, and the group has then got to decide who becomes the main beneficiary of the inheritance that's attached to that task. Anyway. The point is that at the end, the people that haven't put themselves up for the key inheritor, they get to vote for which person they feel should go for it. And so it went like this. Let's say there's 8 of them.
Yeah.
And 3 of them put their hands up for who's going to vote for person X, and 3 of them put their hands up for it. Who's going to put their hand up for person Y, and 3 people put their hands up, and a person that's already put their hand up puts their hand up again, and everybody goes, "You've already voted," and he said, "I can do 2 votes if I want to." No, you can't. You can't do that. Yeah, I can. There's no rules to say you can't, and that's how it ends. And because it's television, you don't get to find out the actual vote numbers because you've got to have it revealed to you as well.
Okay, yeah.
So it goes on to the next stage. But it's the fact that this person it ended with this person just saying, "No, I'm still keeping my 2 votes," and I was shouting at the TV, "Well, everybody else just choose to have as many votes as you want. Say you got 5."
Yeah, no,
but it's just that level of why are you even voting then? Why don't you have a physical fist fight and make a decision with your fist because you're the bigger man? It just got to that point where it's just like, what is this about anymore?
I know. It's probably some smart witty thing that the directors thought, like, oh, like no one actually read the rules, but like, oh, no one's clearly read the rules properly, and like there's a loophole in the rules. Like, no, you've been an arse, and you've read the rules to your advantage. And not read them. This is the thing about games. Okay, we're going on a way tangent here. In board games, and like war games, this happens a lot. There's rules as written, and then there's rules as intended. And a lot of people will bullshit the rules as written stuff, and they'll be like, if you read it how it's written, and like, but everyone knows if you read it as they intended it to be read. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And you can interpret things however you want.
This happens with laws. This also happens with laws. I'm certain.
Yeah,
this is why we have to have ridiculous laws.
This is why there are tax loopholes, because somebody has found a way of interpreting it in a certain way. We go back to Jimmy Carr and his rule breaking. You know, there was nothing legal that he could be held accountable for.
Yeah, it's all just moral stuff.
It's moral stuff, that's what he was held up to.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't know how detached some of these people are that have broken tax rules, or not broken tax, they've bended tax rules. How much is it just their accountant going, "I'm going to do this because it will save some money"? All right then.
Yeah, I know what I mean. But
it's probably happening everywhere. Where's the moral edge on that if you don't even understand what the rules are?
No, I agree, and it's a real issue. And I think this is oh god, we're going into the problems of the world. But going back to Beyond the Curve, all the way back. Let's just whiplash ourselves right back there. I think it is a real symptom of it was a starting point. Looking back at it, it's a real starting point for there's just no consequences, and people can believe what they want to believe, and we're here now, and everyone does it. And I think because life is so easy, and I'm not saying life should get hard. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying life is so easy, and you don't really interact with anyone anymore in a deep, meaningful way.
Yeah,
that people can just go online and just be in these cult groups and say whatever they want, and there's just no consequence to any of it, and they can believe whatever they want, and literally believe fundamentally different things about how the universe works, and life just continues.
No, nothing. Yeah, because there is no real effect.
It
especially if you do spend a lot of your time online. If you're spending your time at a desk in your house, you're not interacting with anything real. It's a computer.
Yeah, you can just start making up entire things. It's crazy.
But at the same time, one thing I'll say for it, that there was a love story in there. I was fascinated.
Mark Sargent
by Mark
is definitely in love with Patricia, but Patricia's definitely not in love with him.
I don't think she's sure, to be honest.
No, that is because she does say midway through, like, I do love Mark, but like platonically. Yeah. Whereas like our relationship isn't romantic, but it's not platonic. She says something like that, and it's like
But there were times when he was distracted with his fame.
Yeah.
That I almost felt like she was longing for him to give her some more attention. Like, but maybe that wasn't.
Maybe
love.
she loved the idea of the attention. I love the powerful man.
Yeah.
The supposed powerful man attention. No, I agree. He was in love with.
Yeah, really interested in their story. And the final thing was just that there was right towards the end there was I think it was meant to be in the same city as the big convention for flat earthers. There was a meeting of some scientists in a bar, and I think they were doing readings and stuff like that. And there was one guy that stood up to talk about flat earthers and stuff, and he was so positive. He was the one that was talking about this idea that they're misguided scientists. They need, we shouldn't look down on them. We've got to encourage them. We've got to show them the right way. If we mock, and I really respected that guy, and it made me think I've got to look at this in a different way. And how
I think saying you idiots is like, it makes them think you're like the sheeple,
yes.
right? You're just another one of these people who's been brainwashed.
Yeah.
And I think there's such a, people talk a lot about tribalism, and like everyone's got their tribes and they want to be in their tribes and stuff. And like, I think we're all very diverting from each other, and we need to come back a bit as groups and communities and like put your arm out to a bit of olive branching.
Because it was that there was some sadness when there was talk of this idea of them finding a group, which is nice. They found people around them that believe
they always say that's like the best community, which is super nice to hear.
But in a way, what they've done is closed themselves off in that community. And they've built up walls because they think everybody else is looking down on them. They feel like everybody is attacking them. And then there was that thing at the end when one psychologist was talking about this idea that it's very difficult for them to leave that situation. Because the people they go to, go to people that leave the real world or whatever, don't care. It's not that it doesn't affect them. But the people they've left behind will ostracize them forevermore. If you change
it's a
your
real thing.
beliefs.
It's the same in like some of the like if you leave Mormonism,
like a cult kind of.
I think people be upset. Cult, but people be upset by that. But you know what I mean. These closed communities where you try and leave and you're ostracized.
You've lost your entire community.
And that's really, and when you're sad, when you're sad about losing your community, you can't go to your community and tell them. So you're very isolated. I think it is a really rough thing, but there's like. There must be some. I'm sure some psychologist, and I hope there is, has like here's the 10 steps you take to do that in a way that's going to keep you feeling mentally well. I really hope that does exist, rather than there's like things like it's just hard. You just got to, you know what I mean?
Go rip that Band-Aid off. You'll be fine.
I really hope that isn't the case. I hope there is something out there that's like good, or like there's an approachable way to do this.
Maybe
it is a
there
rough
isn't
idea
specifically for flat earthers, but there will be techniques to help people.
To get out and like feel like they can get out and find a new community, or just like broaden their world. Well, that took a little bit of a dark turn.
That was
it's a really interesting documentary.
Absolutely brilliant. If you get a chance, do watch it. It's very interesting.
The producing or the editing is really well done. It is super well. Like how they cut between different people talking, and it feels like an argument, but it's not an argument.
I think there was a scene. There was some bits. When they were talking about the moon landings and stuff like that, or some characters talking about how it was all made up and stuff like that, and there was just a montage of these beautiful space scenes, to go, what about this then?
All these things. Well, they're just fake. But it's really interesting. It's a super. If you haven't watched it, I would, listener, if you haven't watched it, I'd super recommend it because it is really interesting. It's a fascinating insight into. It feels very Louis Theroux, where you get into a group, but like in a non-offensive standoff way. Just really interested in what the group's about.
I don't think there was any point where it felt like the production team were being patronising or.
And there was a few, but like not real hard ones. They weren't trying to be attacking. They were just like attacking. Pointing out some silly things.
They were respectful in a way.
So have you seen anything else this week? Has that been your?
I did. What was it? I said the
inheritance.
Inheritance, and I've gone on a deep dark dive of these kind of programs. We started watching Destination X.
I've heard. Isn't that the one with who's that Welsh guy? Rob Brydon.
Brydon. Yes. No, I can't do that. It's quite an interesting thing. It's again, it's another thing that the valuable thing to come from it is this idea of how people are put into situations which are unreal, that isn't their day-to-day lifestyle, and they're being told, you can win a load of money at the end of this, but part of it you've got to, there's a game there, and might have to be a bit dishonest, and it's interesting to watch the show try and encourage their dishonesty.
What is the actual program? Can you give me a synopsis?
A group of people are on a coach. They start off in one location, and
is that global? The one location?
No, Europe. It's Europe in this one, and then they are driven somewhere, and they cannot see out of the bus, and along the way they're given clues as to where they could be.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main premise of the show from the contestants' point of view is driving days on end in a coach with no view out, every so often being let out to a place you can't quite work out where you are, given a set of challenges, and then put back on the coach and driven off again.
Very surreal, I imagine.
So there's these people. So far, they've driven through France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, Croatia, all these places, but they haven't been to them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They've just been on a long drive with a few activities.
Where do they sleep?
There's two. Where do they sleep?
Yeah.
There's two coaches. Mm-hmm. One coach is the day bus, and one is the night bus.
Sleep bus. Oh my gosh.
So whenever they get to the end of their destination, the coaches pull up together and they can go on. The thing that is remarkable is that they try and pit the people against each other.
Yeah.
And they're trying to encourage them to sort of like hide facts and information that might help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because basically, at the end of each episode, they've got to place on a map where they think they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And the person who places their X the furthest away leaves immediately. Yeah. But it's that whole thing that there's lots of ways where they're given suggestions of how they could hide that information if you wanted to. You don't have to tell
it's just
anybody.
being intentionally deceitful.
And then you get the situation where people for quite a while now they've been getting along, but we get to see some of the deceits going on, and then it's somebody finally kind of admits to one deceit, and it all blows up, and it's this point. What I think is happening is that people want to trust other people, want to make friendships and bond, and this television show is basically making them for the game.
Like pit each other against each other.
And, so many times this word says, I really like that person. It's just a game. I want to win. I want the money at the end.
That's horrid. I don't like that.
And that and The Inheritance, I've just been watching a lot of shows that are making me see that people genuinely want to be friends and get along with other people.
Yeah.
And it's an artificial construct that is pitting them against each other. Mm. And if anything,
it's good in a way to see people resist that to some extent, because you can meet some real horrible people out there who would be like, I'm just going to lie to everyone, and just live with that life,
But the thing to do really is either be honest about it, play the game properly, right? Mm. I won that challenge. I've been shown a clue. I'm not going to share it with you guys because it gives me an advantage to win at the end. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, that's just an honest thing.
Yeah, and it would make the show flat and dull, but...
It would. That's the problem, isn't it?
Their experience would be different.
That group would have a lovely experience at the end.
I don't know.
Fair enough,
Hours on a coach.
Better experience, perhaps. That's crazy, honestly. People would do anything.
Yeah.
But, so
that's been my week. It's been a lot of... I don't know, what are these shows called?
They're just competition shows, aren't they, really?
But it's like reality. It is a reality show in the sense that these are just average people.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd exactly call them. They're
game shows to a certain extent.
They are game shows. In my mind, they're game shows. They're kind of more like social game shows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I think so. I've not watched. I
think Traitors has obviously launched this whole series of it. Yeah.
It's not for me. I'll be honest.
No, I wouldn't. I think I'm watching it because Helena's watching it, and it's easy TV.
It's easy TV.
I've done some sewing this week, so being able to stitch away without actually having to
interact with it. Yeah,
and I felt quite good. And early on, I was getting, because they do it the nice thing about Destination X is they let you play along, so they don't give you big reveals. You've got the same puzzles that they've got, and I managed to get the first couple. And towards the end, though, it just got a little bit like there was too many red herrings in some cases, and I didn't understand. Well, why would I know that it's not that clue, but it's that clue? Why
it's getting too elaborate? There's sometimes, especially you get sometimes with murder mysteries, where they're like, "Oh, I could tell it was you because, like, you hold the pitchfork in your left hand, and Of course,
it's not that obtuse.
But you know what I mean? It's like insane. Like, it's like, as the viewer, I was never going to get that was the clue. It's like, I saw you pick it up with your left hand, and we know that he was stabbed at like a left angle, and therefore it must have been you.
Yeah,
it's
there
just
aren't
like,
any other left-handed people in this world at all.
No one else in this room is left-handed. You know, like, it'd be one of those kind of clues, right? And you're like, I'd never have got that in a million years. I don't know. Like, there's no way I could have got that. There's, have you ever? What's the one? There was recently a show that was a murder in the White House. They got the bird watcher.
Yes, the bird watching woman. What was that called?
I'm going to quickly Google it. It's called The Residence. And
you mean The Residence?
Yes, The Residence. Yeah. Yes, The Residence. I think it was a really good. It's a really good.
I'm trying to remember. That's the thing. That's the problem with these kind of murder mysteries. At the time, you're really involved and you're getting all the pieces, and then afterwards, you're like, "What was it again?"
I remember. I know exactly who it was. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen The Residence. I highly recommend watching it. It was the social media lady or whatever. You know the.
Oh yeah.
But like all the clues, like I love the show, and the ending was like fine, I guess. But all the clues, like everyone had a reason to murder the dude. It was just her, because like, and her motives were like everyone had a motive just as strong as hers.
Have you ever seen the film Clue?
No.
It was based on the Cluedo board game. The Americans call it Clue, so the film was called Clue. And it has Tim Curry.
Okay. Let me have a quick Google.
Main thing for him, the It TV miniseries. He was the clown.
Oh, I know the guy.
Anyway, he's a fantastic actor. Rocky Horror Picture Show. There you go. He's the main. Lead in that.
I know.
Basically, it has 6 people turn up to a mansion. Their host is killed, or a representative of the host is killed, and they spend their entire time running around the house, which has all the rooms of the board game in it, and all the murder weapons in it, and they're all trying to work out who did it. And there's lots of, it's quite slapstick. It's what's that? Farcical. It's that kind of thing. I really like it. I think it is become more popular as nostalgia hits, but they released it with 3 endings.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ooh.
So, when you went to the cinema, supposedly, you would get one of the 3 endings.
Oh, really?
And you could find out. People would, write to newspapers at the time and let people know which cinemas were showing which endings, so you can go and try and see all the endings. But the point I'm trying to get at here, I suppose, is the fact when you've got a murder mystery that convoluted, you almost have the ability to choose whoever you want. Because you've given everybody's got a motive, everyone's got a reason to, and it's only what you decide to make it that makes it. So it becomes,
of course.
It's good fun.
It is good fun. Sometimes it is. I do get a bit frustrated when it's like that. Yeah. Like, who knows what they're like? There's all this evidence and like. So Destination X. That's good. Oh, we do like to go off topic. Goodness me.
What were we talking about? I've forgotten.
We were just talking about Destination X.
Is that it? Really?
Yeah. We went down that rabbit hole.
I thought we even started talking about your week.
No.
Oh, God.
We can get to that. So, where do you want to start? Okay. So,
how was your week?
So my week. So I was at a wedding. I was the best man at a wedding. So that was very stressful. I did a best man speech. It went good, I think. When I did my speech,
you didn't get any feedback from the
I think
group?
People said it was fine. I think people said it was good. It's good. I don't want to.
That makes you feel great. Yeah,
it's one of these things. You know when you give a speech, right, and your brain goes into like autopilot, right? Does that make sense? And I can't remember a single word I said during that speech. I had the paper I could not tell you how I said things.
I don't think that's my experience of speech.
My brain definitely goes into like some kind of instinct mode, and I just like stand there and just do the speech. But like, I don't know if I did it well, charming. I think I did a little bit, but like. No memory. No
memory at all.
No memory. I might as well have blacked out and then woken up as soon as the speech was over. Honestly. But yes, I've been pretty preoccupied.
Yeah.
Basically.
Keeping you distracted.
But I have finished Alien Earth. Have you finished?
No, I haven't, so we're going to have to stay.
What I will say is the ending. The ending to me felt like they had thought of a solid ending for a single season.
Yeah.
And towards the end, someone went, "This is too good. We're going to do a second."
No, we have to do more.
So it felt like they were like, "Well, we'll cut it in a way that we can do another season, maybe." Definitely felt like that.
I'm not looking forward to that then.
I think it's still really good. The sheep, you know the sheep.
Yeah.
He gets scarier. That sheep. Sorry, my dog just licked Mark's hand.
He likes licking my wrist for some reason.
Anyway, yeah, the sheep
gets scarier.
And really good. It's such a good...
I was terrified of that eyeball thing. Generally,
it gets real bad. Like in all Alien films, right? It just gets bad.
Just as a small topic on Alien Earth, the thing I've been dwelling about, I haven't finished, so don't go too far ahead.
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for me.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea of that they found 5 hideous things. I think it was meant to be 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. What? Why? What was the reason for that direction choice for a film with, historically a fantastic creature with a complicated life cycle?
Well, it's like me. I'm just not scared by xenomorphs.
Okay,
the xenomorph turns up a lot, and they're just whatever. But the sheep,
the sheep. But do you get what I'm saying? Is why? It's like if you do, I don't know, you're going to make another, Terminator movie, and you go, you know what, we're going to bring in
a different kind of Terminator.
Well, I suppose they did that to a certain extent, but I mean,
maybe it's like a generational thing, but xenomorphs just aren't scary, and I think they in that show, definitely towards the end, they've made other things that feel a hell of a lot more scary.
But why not make another movie? A different film. Let's go. I've got this great alien idea.
I think it's got to be
eyeball monster that can get into your head.
I kind of like it. It works for me. I think all the hideous monsters. It really fleshes out some of the crazy, horrible stuff out there in the alien world, and I think that's good. I'm there for that.
But I suppose the argument is, if you've got a great idea, why tie it to a franchise that's already got a load of backstory that you've got to shoehorn in to make?
I don't think shoehorning it in. What are you on about?
Okay, picture this, right?
Yeah.
You're a scriptwriter and you come up with this idea about an eyeball alien that hangs out in...
Yeah.
And you write a whole story, and then somebody comes along and goes, we should be creating an alien film, and we're going to shoehorn it in. There are lots of examples of that. I mean, there's Die Hard movies I can think of at the top of my head. I believe Die Hard 2 and 3 were other stories that were shoehorned into the Die Hard format.
I think the thing is, in my mind, is there's not enough content around the eyeball to be a whole film, really. I think it just plays a good character in a larger film. Does that make, or a larger show in a larger world. And I think I just don't think you'd have a great film. Or you'd have a very shallow film. Whereas, like, the eyeball, I can see the 80s poster now with, like, a big star flash at the background and then, like, the horrible alien and then, like, a damsel, like, half-torn dress, like, no! You know what I mean? You can see it now.
Yeah,
but I think
the 1980s Blob movie was very much like that, taking a 50s movie concept and then, just adding more gore to it.
I can see it, but I just don't think it could be its own thing. I think it's not enough there. It's still a great show. I recommend it. I think the last episodes, but good otherwise. So I finished that last week.
Yeah.
This week I've been doing a lot of stuff for Trench Crusade, which is a war game. We might have talked about it before.
Is it the one that it's World War One?
Yeah, it's a World War One alternate. So the idea is
and magic behind it.
Yes, the idea is it's a new game that's just been kickstarted, and it's kind of just about coming out now. Really, people are receiving their models if they bought models, and the rulebook should be out soonish. It hasn't fully been. They had some playtest rulebooks. The whole idea is that in the first Crusade, a bunch of Crusaders accidentally opened a portal to hell when they got to Jerusalem.
Like you do, yeah.
Like you do. And kind of since then, the gates of hell have been open, and then World War One is kind of more now like Europe and the rest of the world versus this now open gates of hell in the Middle East.
Right.
And so there's a few factions. There's like
what happened between the Crusades and the First War?
Just big wars, but like it's like continued. But like they've gotten to the era of World War One,
so the weapons and technology has reached that level.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've got like the demons, you've got the heretic legions, you've got the trench pilgrims, which like pilgrims that just turn up in the trenches and go kill things. You've got the actual armies of Antioch, because there's like New Antioch and stuff. So it's like kind of in the Turkish area.
Yeah.
And you've got the Salam, which are like the Muslim group who are doing a lot of stuff in Persia and things. And so there's some really cool factions.
Yeah.
I'm really into it. I'm playing a Heretic Legion, or I'm going to play a Heretic Legion, which is very unlike me. I like to play the good guys, the good righteous people. But I'm trying something different for once. But it's coming out soon. So I've been making one of my friends has been making some trenches for the board. And so I've been making things like the fire traps and the little boxes and stuff, like all the wooden boxes. I bought some stir sticks and I've just been like gluing it all together to make
a little bit of craft.
Doing a little bit of craft just in advance.
Have you just been going to Costa and stealing their stirrers?
No, I bought like a whole pack of stirrers and they're so bent. I'm like looking at this, I'm like lumber, I feel like I'm a carpenter, like looking at this lumber like this is so bent. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I've just been doing that. And like, I've been really enjoying getting back to a bit of crafting. Because I haven't had, now I've got my, as you've seen, my lovely new workshop. I can get on with some crafting and some hands-on stuff, which has really made me quite happy actually. I was really glad to be getting back to some stuff. So that's really all I've been doing, apart from your homework.
Yes.
Now, should we talk about the film and then go into your pitch?
I think so. Okay. I think so, because,
So,
it's
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
I've noticed.
I'm going to stay quiet because I...
Okay, I'll give you a full rundown of everything.
Okay, yeah.
So, I've not been normally very good at telling the whole story. So I'm going to tell the whole story as I remember it. So, an American football player and a travel agent get on a plane in Alaska, I think, or maybe Greenland. I've forgotten. It wasn't important.
Technically Scotland.
Is it Scotland? Okay.
That's where it was filmed. That was where it filmed.
Okay.
Sorry.
They get on the plane, and at the same time, the Emperor of the Universe is messing about with Earth and causing all sorts of things, including hot hail, which... Okay. Anyway, so eventually the plane, both the pilots disappear. And I'm not sure why they disappear still. I'm just going to roll with it. The football player has been taking lessons in piloting, but he hasn't gone to the landing lesson yet. He crash lands, coincidentally, into a scientist's greenhouse. Now, this scientist... Cut to the scientist. He's been dishonoured from NASA or dismissed from NASA because he believes that there is an emperor who's going over the universe and the planet will be destroyed.
There are forces against Earth.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what it is.
Sure. Anyway, so he's built a rocket in his greenhouse that can take them to space and further than space. So he basically okay. So the plane crashes by sheer coincidence into the greenhouse of the scientist. He then
just a side tangent here, right?
Okay,
out of curiosity, do you think he built the greenhouse existed before?
100%, 100%. And then he built the rocket inside the greenhouse.
Didn't build the greenhouse with the intention of building a rocket.
No. This guy doesn't have the time nor energy for that. He will have built the rocket.
Wow, that's a perfect. He went house.
No. He just went. I'll build the rocket in that greenhouse. You just saw a cheap greenhouse and said, I'll build a rocket in that. Anyway, the plane crashes through. The plane with our lovely protagonist, Flash Gordon, the football player, and our lovely damsel, travel agent, crash into this greenhouse. Well, luck would have it, because the scientist needs a second person to...
As you do with rockets, you need somebody to hold
the red pedal. Yeah. He needs two people to pilot this rocket. One to actually pilot the rocket and do all the science, and then one person to hold the pedal.
Yeah, that's vital.
Well, he gets them in. He says the only telephone in this whole place to get you safe is in the giant rockets. If you could get in the rocket,
he doesn't say it's a giant rocket. He says it's in there.
In there, and points to a rocket. And the protagonist just goes, "Sure." It's true though. Don't deny it.
You wouldn't think it was a rocket. It was yellow.
They get in the rocket though, and then the travel agent's like,
"I know
what this is.
I know what this is. You're just not used to telephone boxes." I would have been going, "Oh, that's a really swish telephone box."
Okay, fair.
Why have you got it in your greenhouse? I don't know.
Who am I to judge? Why do you have one in your house? Did you have a telephone box in your house?
Okay, all right, no. All right, might not have had a telephone box in a house, but my halls of residence, we would have those a telephone booth.
Oh, the booths,
yeah. And that would be internal.
You're like getting a perm in one of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where my parents would speak to me.
Oh, very nice. Anyway, so they get in the rocket, and the rocket, against all odds, makes it into space. Whilst there's hot hail, there's all the volcanoes going off in the world, there's earthquakes, just everything going off because this guy's pressing all the buttons to make
He's having fun.
He's having fun destroying the world,
yeah.
apparently. Anyway, they get to a black hole, I think, and they go through it, and they end up at the Emperor's palace.
Mongo.
Now, I enjoyed the model making.
Yeah.
Thus far. Great models.
Yes.
Anyway, so we get to Mongo, and we're in. And for some reason, the scientist thinks that his revolver is going to be enough. He's in this space, like, this fantasy world where they have, like, gun fists. He shoots the fist. You see, he shoots
a fist at his neck because he doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah,
he just wants to restrain him.
He just wants to punch him with his gun. Anyway, so they get that, and the costumes are beautiful.
Yes,
they're super bright red,
stitched by
gold.
loads of Italian women that were shipped over to England to do this specific job.
Oh, it's
all the sequins are hand stitched.
It really felt like someone went, okay, we've got £1 million budget. We're going to give 50 quid to the FX team, and we're going to give the $1 million to the costume guys.
Yeah, for the time, this was an expensive film.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll come back to that because I have some I had some real thoughts about that actually.
You got to put your late 70s hat on. You see, you got to put that on.
No. We'll get back to that. Why I think that's complete horse poo. Anyway, so they eventually get whisked away to the Emperor's chambers. And the Emperor has a ring that can control people. And apparently we're just in time for the annual offering of things to the Emperor. Just by coincidence. So all the different factions from all the different planets turn up. And I've got to say, I enjoyed that. Fantastic amount of variety in the factions.
Yeah.
Great costumes. Great set as well. It felt like a set. It felt like a set from a musical. Little hint there. Little teaser. It all felt like a musical at that point. Anyway, he uses his ring, the Emperor, at some point to seduce the lady or something. She goes kind of crazy for a second. And he's like, oh, I've never seen that done on anyone.
Yeah, she dances the sexiest.
The dance is the sexiest. Anyway, the Emperor then asks...
Even his own daughter, which is very weird, questionable.
Very weird. Also,
yeah,
I think she cries. The lady cries at this point, and the daughter asks, why is there water coming from...
No. You're mixing... That's a bit later.
Okay,
there's a reason for her tears.
But she cries, yes.
Yes.
And then she's like, why is she excreting water from her eyes? Because she's crying. Later, the daughter cries.
Yes, but she's learnt emotions. You see, this is her character has grown. You see,
ridiculous. Well, you learn to cry.
Yeah, you understand.
You don't think you instinctively have crying.
She didn't care about anybody else in her world up until that point.
Sure,
and then she understood that she learnt to be human. Well, she's not human. She's a Mongolian.
Despite the evidence, Mark, the evidence, you don't believe me. That feels awfully parallel, doesn't it?
Okay.
Ooh. Anyway, so the Emperor detains... Something happens. The Emperor detains all the people, all the Earthlings. But luckily, Flash Gordon's there, the football player, who uses his footballing skills to defeat every single one of the elite guard of the Emperor of the universe. Casually. It doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat. That is unbelievable.
As well as tears, they haven't come across American football before.
Clearly.
Oh, come on. You telling me your heart isn't racing with that football fight's done?
No, it wasn't. I thought it was ridiculous.
Flash, go,
I thought it was ridiculous. I'm going to be honest. There'll be some redemptions.
I love that piece of music.
The music was great. Great. I enjoyed the music thoroughly. Anyway, so eventually he gets captured and he's sentenced to death, but he doesn't get killed.
And that's where she cries.
She cries, because he's...
to be pedantic.
They think Flash Gordon's dead. Anyway, he's not dead. The daughter... Aurora is fancying a doctor who's made it so he's not dead, actually. Flash Gordon then goes on a series... He goes around the universe, basically, telling people
the kingdom of Mongo again... It's not the universe, it's the kingdom of Mongo.
Just the kingdom of Mongo?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is the ruler of the universe.
But they're all just in Mongo.
What is his world?
Because they go to the flying people and the green people.
Right, Arborea, which is a moon, and Phrygia, which got destroyed. It was just a wreck. Do you remember seeing that? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
and then it's the Hawk People's Palace.
The Hawk People's Palace is nice.
Or city.
I enjoyed space. Space travel was great because it was different. It wasn't the standard black with some stars. Blah blah blah. It had this kind of etheric, more light-hearted. I really enjoyed that. It was a different take, and I think that was nice. Yeah, even though it's not factually accurate. But the things we didn't know.
You don't know why that is. That's the thing.
I agree.
It's not space. It's Mongo, and it's the land that he controls. That the Ming the Merciless has in his under. That's his.
Anyway, so he goes to these people and is hiding / trying to convince them to sort of go against
team up and defeat
the Emperor.
Ming the Merciless.
Anyway, they all hate each other anyway. Yeah. So they're like, absolutely not. I'm never teaming up with him.
Because they've been pitted against each other.
No, I agree.
There is...
No, that's fine. And then eventually they see his love and affection to fellow man, and they team up.
Yeah.
To save our lovely travel agent. Who's now becoming...
Dr. Zarkov, don't forget Dr. Zarkov.
Well, Dr. Zarkov's doing his own thing. He's becoming a level 6 scientist. That's an actual thing in the film.
Yeah.
Anyway. He's now going to marry the lovely lady.
Ming the Merciless
Ming is going to marry the travel agent because she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Or something. Anyway, eventually, and this is where it gets good. Everything from now is good stuff. They decide that Ming is too distracted with the wedding, and the Hawk people and Flash Gordon on his Hawk jet bike attack
Hawkman rocket cycle.
A lovely name. I enjoyed that thoroughly. When he's like, when the Hawk go, what does Blind Blessed? Who's the character he plays?
Prince Voltan.
When Prince Voltan is like, Gordon's alive. And like, Gordon, what are you riding? And he's like, it's my Hawk bike. He knows what the Hawk bike is.
Hawkman rocket cycle. Say it.
Hawkman rocket cycle.
Thank you.
But he's just like, I'm on my Hawkman rocket cycle. He just knows.
I'm flying blind on a Hawkman rocket cycle.
How does he know what it's called? There's no label on it.
How do you know? You haven't looked. There could be a user manual tucked in a pocket.
It was amazing.
He did jump on it and just get going, didn't he?
Anyway, and then they proceed to essentially assault the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
And that's epic. They get in the Emperor's ship and they drive it at his palace.
Yeah.
And there's like a force field and they get the force field down and some really epic music in there.
Yeah.
And just like, that gave me goosebumps. That was good. I really enjoyed that. I was so surprised.
Yeah.
That's amazed. I was amazed by that bit. Anyway. It was great. I can't remember the exact details, but I just thought, holy crap.
There's a lot going on at that point.
It's great. The visual effects, the Hawk people went blurry. The green screens failed.
Yeah. Come on. You're talking the late 70s. This is
okay.
This is
I can now say my points.
End. Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey, infinitely better. And it set a standard. And now I've realised why it's an amazing film. Because it was so much earlier and so much better than some of these films you've been recommending me. We go back to Bonzo, Bonanza in the Eighth Dimension. We watched that.
Yeah.
And there was that other film that I was talking to you about, which was the Lovecraftian film.
Yes.
And then we talk about...
From Beyond.
From Beyond, yeah. And then this one, Flash Gordon, and there was another film you recommended.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element is okay. But you watch those, and you watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, it was insanely good.
Yeah.
Compared to all these films. And you can see why it was seen as a masterpiece a bit more now. I appreciate it a
you
lot
realise,
more now.
You get the time context of it all.
Yeah, and you realise, Flash Gordon and all these films are way later on, and they're still a bit,
I think the difficulties for Flash Gordon is that you've got those colourful backgrounds. That compositing against that is hard work.
But honestly, actually, you know what?
But did you know that some of those weren't all real people? They were different size models of Hawkman and stuff like that. Okay, sorry.
I could tell. It was really good. Anyway, And then it all ends up well. Everything goes well. They defeat the emperor, and the football player falls in love with the
Travel agent.
Blah blah blah. Happy ever after. Woohoo! It's a good ending.
Yeah.
I think the things that really make it good are the costumes.
Yeah.
Fantastic costumes the whole way through. I think the palaces and the space,
the set designs,
great.
The visuals. Yeah.
I think the action sound, and the attack on the palace, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Another critique of mine is that the ladies are a bit too much objectified. And it makes me feel a little icky.
Yeah.
But I understand that's of the time, but I still feel a little icky. But it was great. It was a great film. Towards it, the first bit was like, whatever. But as soon as we start seeing aliens, I was like, I vibe with this. This is fun. And it's colourful.
Yeah.
And it feels theatrical.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that. And then, when we get to the assault, I think there's a bit too much of knocking around in the other two places, the two other kingdoms,
the tree world,
and the hawk peoples. It's like, we didn't need to be there forever. It was pretty fast paced otherwise. It's pretty fast paced otherwise for a film at the time. There's been a lot of films that I thought were slow, but great. No, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Actually, I thought the attack. Oh God, I keep saying the attack on the palace was phenomenal. Great. The whole lead up to that. Whoo! What a treat!
It for me, one of the things I do is I listen to the soundtrack, and it is. I'll go on to this in a bit more detail. Basically, the second half of it starts with with Volton's theme, and then basically to the end of the album is basically that sequence.
Oh, really?
And you just listen, and it's got a few sounds, edited bits of sound from the film in it. Fly, my Hawkman, fly, and who wants to live forever? All these fantastic quotes intersped with the dialogue, and it you can listen to it almost and picture the battles and what's going on and stuff like that, and I love that.
I will have to go back and rewatch the battle scene because it was phenomenal, and just there's so much character in just how everything looked.
You've got that older Hawkman, heroes hit. I'm going in after him.
Insane that they got Brian Blessed to can you wear this feathery thong?
Oh, he's fully up for it.
He's fully up. It's bizarre. But I swear I love it because you couldn't do that these days. People would be like, "What do you mean?" Trying to get an A-star celebrity to be an A-list celebrity to be like, "Can you just wear this feathery thong?"
Someone who's done Shakespeare. I'm a serious actor.
Yeah. You could.
But then you look at the cast. You've got a future Bond in there with Timothy Dalton playing Prince Baron.
He also played we knew him from Hot Fuzz. That's where we knew him from.
Yes. With him, that was one of his early roles, and he was playing that as Errol Flynn. He really went for it. He played it on the serious side, and it always works if you've got something that is high camp, like Flash Gordon is if you have a few people in there that are taking it seriously.
You are right. It is high camp.
Yeah.
I will absolutely agree. Having you said that.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It's interesting. One thing I said to Drew, I was going to watch a documentary about Flash Gordon called After Flash, and it primarily takes a viewpoint of Sam Jones, the guy who plays Flash. It's something it turns out he's actually produced this thing, but it does break down the making of Flash Gordon as well. And what was interesting was seeing what was the thing. Oh God, what was the last thing you said?
Oh, Campness?
Campness, that was it, yeah. The producer of it, Dino De Lind Torres, I've said that really badly. I apologise to his estate. What
does that even mean?
Okay.
What does that even mean?
His family is still produce films. I know. Anyway, and I pronounced their surname, De Laurentiis. Oh, goodness. Anyway, Dino, I'm going to call him now because I can't get his surname. Sorry.
So ridiculous.
Anyway, he was a big film producer. He did a lot of stuff, including the David Lynch version of Dune and other films that I can't remember off the top of my head. Trust me.
Okay.
But basically, he took this to be slightly more seriously in his mind. And he started bringing, a director, actors, set designers, all these people around. and they were reading it a different way, and they went full camp. You know,
okay.
even someone like you see the set design, the colourfulness. There's
really
nothing
good.
else like that
feels
anywhere. You know,
different. It feels different. That's great, and it feels very jarring at first, but like I very much just got on with it. I was like, I got on board. I was like,
you have
we're
to.
here for this. This
There's
is
no
what.
choice.
It's so garish, but in like a
you've
great
hired
way.
Queen to do your soundtrack.
Was it Queen?
Yeah, that's Queen.
Oh,
my
I
God,
knew
you
it.
didn't know?
I knew it was Queen.
Oh my
No.
God.
I knew it had to be Queen, but I was like, I can't believe that it was.
My mind is blown here.
No, because I was watching it. As I was watching it, I was like, this sounds a lot like Queen, and I was like, it can't be. Surely not.
Yes.
Amazing. Oh, that makes me
Brian
very
May
happy.
wrote a good chunk of it himself. I think that
Was it officially Queen stamped, or was it like people from Queen worked on it? Like Brian?
No.
He's taking a pause in
I'm
frustration.
taking a pause and out of frustration.
No. I didn't look too hard
because it's a famous vinyl. Okay,
is it a famous one? Okay, I didn't know that.
I'm going to show you a picture of it.
Oh, I feel embarrassed now. I just showed you my vinyl collection just before this episode.
There we go. Can you see that?
Oh, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
I like that.
That is, it's this bold album.
It's exactly
it's a bright yellow thing with a Flash Gordon logo on it.
It's exactly like the film, which is bright in your face, but like crazy. And that's you've blown my mind. I did not know that. And you get greatest hits albums of Queen, and it'll include the main theme, Flash theme. They did a music video which they released as a part of it. Oh dang! God, I feel like they had a great plot twist all of a sudden.
We have a podcast at my house. I will get my vinyl out.
Do you have the vinyl?
Yes.
For it? Oh, I'm gonna have to buy a vinyl as well. I want a matching one.
Anyway, where was I going with my original thoughts on it? For me, this is now we'll lead on to where I was talking about. I had this album. My mum bought it. She liked the film, and this is before you bought a video to keep. So one thing you did was, in this case with Flash Gordon, you could buy the album, and I would listen to this, having seen the film, but not watching it. And I could listen to this and still get enough of a vibe.
Had
of
you
the film.
seen the film once at this point?
At this point, it was. I believe it was our first video ever. When we bought a video recorder, my dad, had this giant box and put it down, top loading video. This thing opens up.
VHS, yeah.
And I remember, VHS.
Just yeah. I thought it might be some proprietary thing before.
I don't know when this was. It was sometime early in the 80s. We got our first video player. A LED at the front, the glowed blue.
Yeah.
Came back from JC's video shop, and it was the frustrating thing for me is not having the case of Flash Gordon. It had JC's logo on the front.
Oh yeah.
And you open it up though, and there was the branding of the Flash Gordon logo, and it went in the machine and clunk back down, and we watched it, and I loved it. And I don't know at what point my mum bought this Flash Gordon album. My memory now is later on of having this album in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember playing it all the time because it made me feel like the film. It was like watching the film. It was just the audio. There were those snippets of dialogue and stuff like that, and it became amazing.
I'm going to say something. This might have fed into your post-rock love. I think there's something in that because it's because we talked about it being a soundtrack.
Yeah,
and it's kind of got Queen, so it's more like musical. Yeah, and it's interspersed with lyrics, I guess you could say.
As well as that. And it's interesting you say that because someone this week I was listening to the album as preparation for this, and it was, I think it's The Kiss, one of the love themes in it, or not The Kiss, it's the love theme anyway. And I was listening to it, and it goes on a journey. And as I was listening to it, I was thinking, is this post-rock?
I think this is.
I wasn't thinking it so much about. I see what you're now saying with the wider the battle theme and the main thing, but it was those quieter moments that got me thinking because it was repetitive. It did have experimental kind of sounds in it. It has Freddie Mercury going, and all kinds of strange stuff like that. And
very well
yeah,
done.
I'm glad you said that, because that is something that I've started to learn myself, and maybe that is it's
where it all began.
It's a hidden post rock album that started my interest in the music.
Post rock. Goodness me! Wow, we've learned something about you today.
So,
and on that bombshell, no, you've got the musical to the musical now.
So yeah, and I think that I had this idea first time probably about 15 years ago, walking home, listening to the Flash Gordon. This is back when I had a CD player rather than a phone and Spotify.
Yeah.
And I would then, if you had discs, you could only carry so many discs. And one of the ones that was always in my little wallet of discs was the Flash Gordon soundtrack. Because I had to have it on CD.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I had it at one point on cassette. I can't find it anymore.
Wow. In every format.
In every format available to me. I have got somewhere in the house, I've got a Betamax version.
Oh my gosh.
I've never had a Betamax player.
I was going to say, that's quite a niche proprietary kind of vibe. It's not proprietary.
My VHS version got thrown out by accident.
Oh gosh. Oh, I can see
but I have
tears
a DVD.
in your eyes.
Yeah. Strangely, I've resisted buying a Blu-ray version, but this has started getting me going, oh God, I'm going to have to get that now. I'm going to have to get it.
I think you should.
I'm going to have to get it.
I watched it in UHD, Ultra HD, and I think it probably lended something to it.
Yeah.
Probably made it a bit nicer. You can tell that, I'm sure, on a CRT, on a VHS, a lot of the blurriness hides a lot of the sins.
Hides a lot of the sins, yeah. The nostalgia goggles.
In crisp, Ultra UHD, you're like, that looks weird. But it's still great. It was still great. Yeah. I'm sure I got the exact same experience you did, which was was fantastic.
Yeah, I have technically seen it in the cinema, though it was a low rent.
Fantastic.
Oh, it was a low rent version.
Oh, okay.
My friend worked for a cinema chain, and I think it was like for my 25th birthday or something like that. He rented out one of the screens, but he couldn't get hold of a print.
Okay.
So we ended up watching a DVD version.
Through
so it was faded.
It wasn't the full.
It was brilliant for me because it was the biggest I'd ever seen it. It was a proper. It was still a memory for me.
Yeah. On that kind of same topic, I was doing this. So there's we've talked about this before. AJR released a new album a couple of weeks ago. There's the Big Goodbye, and there's a little section in there towards the end where it goes really quiet, and then they have some trumpets. They go like dun 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 dun, and like those trumpets sound insane.
Yeah.
And what I want is a whole brass band in front of me just blasting that bit of the song. Like, that's what I want, like, in my face, just as loud as everyone can go.
And that's with the Flash Gordon soundtrack.
That's what I want for the Flash Gordon soundtrack as well.
You
I want
that played
in
loud.
My face, like, that's what I think the cinema would be great. Just, like, full volume on a cinema. Just like, oh my God. Like, I could see that. Watch it in the Sphere in Las Vegas. Could you imagine that? That would be phenomenal.
I saw a trail for Wizard of Oz in the Sphere.
Oh, really?
Or maybe it wasn't the Sphere.
Was it like an IMAX thing?
Yeah, but it wasn't an IMAX thing. But they basically re-edited. The scene I saw was a re-edited version of the tornado stuff at the beginning. It's all in monochrome. But things would fly off further than they would have done in the real film. So they've obviously either they've used AI or they've
post-produced basically.
Yeah, they've done something to make it bigger. And when the leaves, I think they had leaves blowing around inside this studio space. I don't know what it was. It was one of those things I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because it was obviously wasn't 100% original. It was they extended it, and I was just picturing any film like that's just Star Wars like that, just being able to make it even bigger somehow using technology. I think, early days.
It'd be cool. But going back to
anyway, the main
keep going distracted.
So yeah, the soundtrack has always been important to me. I would definitely say, and walking around with it in my late 20s, having that in my head, I would be picturing scenes in my head of how that film was. And I started to get this idea, wow, what happens if this was, it's a fantastic soundtrack. What happens if this was a musical? How could you build that? Hold on a minute, it's ridiculous. It's science fiction, there's massive spaceships and stuff like that. And it just got more into the idea of, well, you have people on wires. You can do that in stage shows. Massive sets. It doesn't have to be, a full-size spaceship. It just has bits of it. And then I started picturing it in my head, and mostly because of a lot of my excitement was from those battle scenes you talked about.
Yeah.
Just picturing them being more of a dance or more
I can see
flamboyant.
What is insane, because when I watched it,
yeah,
and we're in the Emperor's chambers, and he's fighting in his football way. He's fighting all the guards. I was like, this could be this is already basically a theatre production, just here, this bit here, and all the colourful people doing this. It just lent itself so well to the idea.
That high camp colour,
that
would be mind-blowing on a stage.
Yeah, and it's a dance. It's already a dance.
It's already a dance.
This kind of dancey thing.
It's choreographed dance.
It's very choreographed. It feels choreographed.
Yeah, and so I had this idea in my notebook for the podcast to talk about this idea. And my idea originally was to sit down, and I started this process of actually writing out what that, like a proper script or something for it.
Yeah.
And I started that process. And I think I'd got lost in a rabbit warren. I could spend all my time seriously doing this, to drawing up what I would imagine the stage to be like. And I had to almost stop myself after I got through probably half the film, because I was thinking, is that actually of merit right now?
I was watching a video yesterday on YouTube, and it was a guy talking about, and it is such an oxymoron. I was watching a video about a guy talking about how you should stop watching videos. You should stop watching videos and just do something creative.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is, of no consequence, just do something creative. And that's why I'm kind of doing the stuff with the Trench Crusade, because I want to do something, not be on my phone.
Yeah.
And I think you should finish this. And I will, once you're done, I'll type it out and we will put it out into the world. And I promise you this, Mark. If we ever go on tour with this podcast, if we ever do live recordings of this podcast, I will happily wear the Hawkman outfit, and I will shout "Gordon's alive" as you ride in on your Hawkman, on your Hawk bike.
My obsession with Flash Gordon was to a point. There was, what's it called? Red Bull. They do the flying things.
Yeah.
I tried to convince my friend the friend that made me got me in Flash Gordon on the cinema.
Yeah,
he's blonde haired. He's a handsome chap.
Okay,
Alex, this is a shout out to you. You will never hear this. Handsome chap. But he was blonde. I'm a big guy. I didn't have a beard at that point, but I thought I could give it a go. I could be Voltan. He could be Flash Gordon. He can be on the front of the rocket cycle that we build with slightly bigger wings, so it doesn't just tank when it gets off the end of the wall. You know the one I mean?
Yeah, the Red Bull.
You fly off the thing.
Yeah,
and I could be there.
Jumps.
In fact, the wings. That was it. The wings would be built into my costume,
your
and
wings
onto the rocket.
guy.
So I just stand behind the wings, so I look like I'm the Hawk guy, and I did little drawings and stuff like that. This is what it could be like, but it never went anywhere. It was all excitement of a late 20-year-old.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Honestly, you should finish it, because it is, I think, a great idea. And looking at the notes, you've already got some great notes. You've already got like a scene layout, as far as I can see on the page.
But the thing is that it's quite a visual film. And I think I would 100%. I would be borrowing heavily in terms of designs and stuff that's from that film, because it is so colourful. I don't think there are things, openings to make it theatrical opening. Right, you can't just have something whizzing past like the colourful where they use real comic book panels. In the opening, is you've got to tell the story. So my thought is you've got another dance that's football based. But it's American football. It's actually Flash Gordon playing a game with a dance kind of thing. He's jumping over people. He's leaping through. He's coming towards the stage, and he scores the winning try at the last second, and everybody cheers. And then you cut to him. Somehow he's quick change of clothes, and he's sat at a bench on an airfield, and the plane is brought on, and then Dale walks on, and they have a conversation that begins that whole process. And they get into the plane, and the front of the plane comes off, and you've got the interior. And you've got the interior, and then that takes, it's obviously on hoists of some sort, lifts up into the sky, and you have that scene.
I'm going to go like the fact that you thought about this in this detail.
Yeah, this is the rabbit warren I was going down. You see,
is magical.
I had to stop myself because I was thinking, do I need to get through the whole story, or am I going to get to a point where I've gone bogged down into too much detail that it's pointless at this point?
Is there anything big you would change, or would you keep very faithful to the whole thing?
I want to use the music as a structure. Because I think...
Do you have it kind of like Les Miserables, where there's music constantly going on?
I don't know if constantly. I think there would be acted out scenes because the film... But I think I would let the important... There's some gaps in the soundtrack in terms of... There's some stuff in the throne room that got the execution, and you got some stuff in the Borea, the swamp tree planet. But that could do with more. There needs to be something else in that part. It's sort of kind of slang.
There is a bit of a
I think it works in the film because there's an adventure and he's chased by.
You've got to chop it down a little. He's got to get theatre production. You've got to.
But that's the thing. You've got to make some of these things bigger. How do you make? I love that scene with the tree stump thing, and he's got to put his hand in.
Yeah.
How do you make that bigger? How do you make that more impactful?
Yeah, I can see that.
That needs some work. Definitely.
I think you could do some things in there. It's got all the trappings though.
Yeah.
I love how I had lofty hypes there. I compared it to Les Miserables. So it's going to be like a Les Miserables.
Yeah, Les Mis. It's going to be fantastic.
We'll see on the West End next year. I would, it's the right film. I'm amazed it hasn't happened.
There's lots of other things that, haven't quite worked out how to tell Dale's story and Zarkov and where they end up. I think some of them could be, maybe I need more theatre languages of having... Because you'll have the bigger sets, but then how do you say the smaller scenes? Do you have a small set that's inside of that's lit up suddenly?
Well, I think you can have change. I think you can have there's a lot of whiz pop with the old. Gosh, there's a lot of whiz. You can do a lot of things You can do a lot of things on stage. I've discovered. We work slightly adjacent to the theatre industry. There's a lot of things you can do with the stage, and you can do a lot of changes and a lot of big things. I think you take that to advantage. But have you thought about this being more of an Amdram thing? Do you think this could be an Amdram thing?
Would you do
two scripts?
Yeah,
like one Amdram, one.
I think you could go for Amdram. You could really narrow it down, and find a way of doing it as a part of a small thing. I don't know, a village theatre group or something like that.
It would be a great. Because I was thinking you could add a lot of comic relief into this. Could you imagine the local parish and someone's got to play Zoltan? Volta?
Yeah, everybody's going to want to play. That's going to be a part that you're going to be desperate to play, isn't it? Being able to shout loudly and boisterously at some of these classic lines from the film.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's going to be a great comic. It's really worth doing. I'm amazed that hasn't been done thus far.
It is interesting considering it is camp, it is humorous, and it's got a fantastic soundtrack already.
Yeah. I think you would. To be honest, you didn't need to convince me. As I was watching it, I was totally enraptured by the idea that this could be a musical, a theatre production. What it could be.
You imagine with modern theatre, you'd be able to have backdrops, video backdrops with those swirling, colourful clouds.
With the swirling.
Yeah. You've got to have some stuff. You want to have physical sets. You want something solid.
I think you need some of those. I want that glorious red.
Yes,
everywhere.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's just so bright and in your face.
How many films use red in that way?
None these days. They would never approve a film that had that much shimmering everything, and you know what I mean? It's crazy. I know. I 100% agree. I think they definitely spent, and I think it also lends to it. They spent so little money on FX that it means that
I think your understanding of the time. I think there was a lot of money spent
on the limitations of effects, shall we say? However that came about. I think also lends itself very well for theatre because they're not doing anything much more than a green screen at most parts.
But
it'll very easily translate to
I think it would be harness heavy. Okay, I'm trying to. There's decisions to be made in terms of how you deal with that final battle.
There's some decisions we need to make. We need to iron out a few things.
But the thing is, right, part of me has this idea of that when that scene you're talking about, well, where's Flash? Flash? Is that you, Flash? And the big reveal is Flash coming down from behind the stage, from behind the the
To
seats,
the backdrop,
the
yeah.
backdrop. No.
Behind the seats, like literally at the back of the theatre.
Yeah, on a Hawkman rocket cycle, on cable,
On cables, yeah.
coming down over the
Oh,
audience
hell yeah.
and coming to the stage to meet Voltan on the stage.
Oh,
Or do you hold that back for when the final spaceship rocket Ajax or whatever?
It's the most iconic. It must be one of the most iconic scenes. Is him on the bike, like going around. Oh, it would be amazing.
But then, how do you make the impact of that rocket coming in?
I think you could do some other things. I think you could do it. I think you got to think about it.
Yeah.
I think you've got it in you. Well, what a tremendous idea! What a tremendous idea, honestly, Mark. I think it needs work on. I would
some more detail.
No, wait, not in a bad way. I think it needs working on, as in like it needs completing. I think this needs to exist. I really do,
insane.
actually.
Okay.
Even in a rough form, I think this does need to exist. Always a long pause there.
I'll have to give some time.
Maybe over Christmas. Maybe for the new year. For the new year. That'd be a good. You know, I don't know, just a thought. And we can go to the West End, and we can go see someone.
Knock on some doors.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. See someone. Go see. I don't know.
How do you even pitch a theatre project?
I don't even know.
It's interesting. I read a book. It's Stuart Lee, comedian, and what's interesting, he presented a couple of his stand-up shows, and what he did was he presented them with a narration throughout.
Okay.
So you would have a bit of the script, and then he would put an ad lib to some point and explain why the joke was said like that, or when he tried different versions of the joke when he went to a different city or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the things he talked about he talked a little bit about his life and how he got to be where he was. And he talked about the musical that he ended up directing and writing for, which was Jerry Springer the opera.
Okay, yeah.
And he'd never done any opera. He'd never written theatre. He'd never done anything like that. And because he was a comedy writer and done that, his friend who was the musical director for it and had written the music elements, he just needed somebody to kind of help him get that process. But they managed to do it on a small scale, and then it got bigger, and then they ended up in the West End. But how do you do that? You know, I don't have a contact.
I think a lot of things. I think a lot of these things are just sheer luck for the most part. I gotta say, I think it's a bit of determination, it's a bit of knowing the right people, and it's a bit of luck. It's all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Getting it out there. You know what? The best way to get that out there. I think you should talk about this on a podcast.
A podcast. I wish I knew anybody that had a podcast.
Gosh. Well.
Anyway, I think
Well, you've convinced me.
I bored you on Flash Gordon. No. I'm not going to even be like that.
So
I am glad I brought you on board with
100%.
with the beautiful film that is Flash Gordon.
It's a beautiful film, and I can see it. It's got some big drama, big energy, and it would do great on the West End. I think it really would. So thank you, Mark. It's great.
No, I'm glad.
I think we learned something about you with the post-rock stuff. I really do.
Yeah, that is. It's like exploring roots of your own interests. And finding discovering something like that is interesting.
So let's look on to next week. Episode 10.
Wow.
Episode 10. We've done it.
We've done a
digits.
decade. No,
done a decade. We've done 10 weeks. We've done like 12 weeks. Anyway, it's going to be the 1,000-year-old vampire. Okay. Which means we're not going to do the normal format. It's probably going to be a couple episodes long. So we're going to do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 maybe.
However long it takes. I'm going to sit down with you. Yeah. If people want to watch someone do this well, I'd recommend going to see Mystery Quest on YouTube, and you'll find a few others done by the lovely Yogscast people, and they do it really well. Mystery Quest. Now, I would like you, Mark, to think of a character. Not right, or just for your homework. Think of a character. Think of an era of time that you would like your character to be in, and I'd like you to think of maybe a backstory and a couple characters. Just some loose outlines, so that when we come to it, you're. What was the last bit? Sorry, just some characters, some skills, some of the people that they might know, and some of the items they might have. Just some loose ideas that we can bring to the table fresh. And I'm excited for this because, as you know, I love to roleplay. I'm a roleplay heavy guy, and I think we'll have a real good time with this, hopefully.
it'll be a blast, and we'll make a beautiful character.
Okay, I've made some notes. Wasn't interesting for.
Yes, I was about to ask if you got any homework for me, but you shouldn't.
No, I shouldn't, because you're going to be
we're going to have
doing
this instead.
Yes,
I will be making homework for this. So, well, until next time, Mark. Goodbye.
Toodaloo, everyone.
Fuck you, Mark.
Fuck you, Drew.